You can't stop humanity's progress. We conquered the oceans. We conquered the land. We conquered the sky above the land and ocean. And next, we're gonna conquer space. But that last one's gonna take a bit of time. So in the meantime, we have simulation games to prove how bad an idea it is to live on a space station. Welcome one and all to Space Station 14.
Welcome to the station, crew. Enjoy your stay.
My role aboard the station was that of the medical doctor, one of many medical doctors aboard Space Station 14 at this time. Generally, medicine requires that you heal the sick and help the harmed. And it's a pretty simple task overall. So I did my duty and helped the crew as needed after they hurt themselves doing whatever bullshit they were off doing elsewhere in the station. Medical was surprisingly quiet this shift, at least for, I'd say, roughly the first half. Of course, patients came in over time, needing help with their occasional bruise or scratch. But for the most part, medbay remained fairly quiet for a while. Yet medbay never truly sleeps. And eventually, there was a commotion. And as it would turn out, there was a traitor among us the whole time. A paramedic. He said his piece, walked over to the chemist, and gunned her down in plain sight. The rogue medic quickly ran away, exiting the scene, and us doctors jumped into action to rescue our fellow chemist, one of medbay's finest. We quickly dragged her body to a cryostasis bed and examined her wounds, all of which were obvious bullet wounds, and we began patching her up. As we were patching her up, it didn't take long for Sec to arrive at the scene of the crime. There was some confusion as the casing still lay hot on the floor, but eventually, we did get it somewhat sorted out, it seems. Or so we thought. A Sec officer assured us that they would stop this ne'er-do-well on the station, and we had utmost confidence in station security to uphold the law at this time. Sec fumbled the investigation almost immediately, grabbing the casings and then forgetting where they put them. But medical still had a case, and we wanted to see justice. So we went to Sec and made our statements, testifying against the rogue paramedic. I made my way to security and prepared to testify on record in front of security that I indeed saw the paramedic gun down our chemist in medbay. Eventually, after a long wait, I made my way into Sec and gave a statement about the heinous murder of our chemist. And after some time, I was finally able to give my statement to Sec. And finally, with all the statements given, all the Sec officers talked to, all the chemists healed, and everything, it was finally time to see the court case and see if we had been successful in bringing down the rogue paramedic. So I returned to Med and began to wait for the court to convene. And then finally it was time for court. We filed in and took our seats and waited to be called to the stand if needed as witnesses. All that was left was for Sec to bring forward the accused and have their day in court. And luckily it didn't take long to begin the proceedings of the case against the rogue paramedic. The court started slow and calm, as most courts tend to do. But it wouldn't be long until this courtroom saw yet another turn of events for the worse. At first, everything looked like it was going to plan. Sec put forward a motion to formally charge the paramedic with murder. The paramedic did not have a lawyer present and chose to represent himself because there was no lawyer available on the station at this time. The judge upheld the order to force the accused to defend themselves in the court. Eventually, we got to the part of the case where witness testimony was relevant, and we testified on the stand in front of the court, which went okay. After one of the doctors had testified, it was my turn to take the stand and testify, and I tried to be as accurate as possible in my recount of the situation, and it went overall, I'd say, very well. And then in the middle of the court case, a colossus decided to appear and make a mess of the court proceedings during the middle of the case. Lucky for us, the detective and security bots on staff were pretty competent at their jobs and were able to defeat the colossus. And the case did not have to be recessed for this intrusion. Sec was happy that they had presented their case in an effective manner, and they decided to leave it there and leave the rogue paramedic to defend himself. It was at this time that the accused made his case to the judge and somehow managed to successfully defend himself to the point of being let go on a not guilty charge. Yes, he managed to skillfully defend himself to the point where the judge deemed him not guilty and eliminate the murder charge from his record. After much deliberation and a long trial, the judge decided to call it. The rogue paramedic was not guilty. The crowd from medical was obviously displeased in the stands, but there was nothing they could do. Soon after the court case, the crew transfer shuttle arrived to switch out the shift crew on the station, and the paramedic walked away as a free man. That's all I had for Space Station 14 for this round, but stay tuned for more in the future, at some point, maybe. But on a more serious note, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you around.